Hi everyone, this is Joanna from Crystal Spirit, and today we are on day 2 of Anthony's 31 Days of Tarot. And today's prompt is: what are the top 5 tarot decks of 2018 which you have purchased or were released in 2018? So for me, I have to say I haven't 5, I have less than 5, because tarot was a system for me that I always respected and I was very interested in, but I didn't trust myself enough to learn a system with 78 cards in it. It was always very challenging. It seemed always very challenging for me. And so I started my journey with card readings and with cartomancy with Lenormand, actually, because that was for me a lot easier and quicker to understand and to learn. But after a while, I saw videos on YouTube about the tarot system and different unboxings of different tarot decks, and I fell in love with a lot of the beautiful artwork that exists with some of the tarot decks out there. And I thought I should give tarot a second chance and I should just get in there and start it. And after a while, I fell in love with the tarot and the tarot system, and I realized that it isn't quite as complicated and challenging actually to learn the system as I thought it would be. So I'm cheating a little bit here because I haven't had a lot of decks in 2018 to work with, except for the classic Rider-Waite-Smith and this one. And in September, I think I started to buy some other tarot decks. So this is an honorable mention because, as I said, I already purchased this in 2017. But otherwise, if I didn't mention this one, I wouldn't have a lot of tarot decks to speak about in this video. And this is the Vampire Tarot by Ian Daniels, which was the first deck that I bought besides the classic Rider-Waite-Smith, because I heard a lot of good things about the guidebook that comes with this deck. And I also was in Halloween spirit at this time of the year in October when I purchased this. So this is definitely on my top 5, top 4 list with me, because I just have 4 decks to show you and to work with in 2018. So this is the Fool and the Daughter of Scepters. So in this deck, the court cards are changed. So this is the Daughter of Scepters. So this would be the Page. And you can see it is artwork-wise a very deeply saturated, darker, color-wise darker deck with a lot of people in them. Those are all vampires, of course. The 9 of Grails. So the suits are changed in scepters for the wands, Grails for cups, skulls for pentacles, and here we have the three of skulls, and knives for swords. But I think they're really recognizable which one is which classic suit with which traditional suit. And I love to read with this in October and the whole autumn season, because it has really Halloween vibes to me. And I also love to use it, yeah, around the year. It really dives deep with all the symbology that is in the cards. There's really a lot in the cards, and the guidebook really talks about um, what happens in the card and lists all of the symbology that is used in the card and all of the symbols and why they're there and for what they are standing, which gives a very deep look at and very interesting and unique look at each of the cards. And the sun. So the next deck I'm going to talk about, which I purchased in September of 2018 and worked with it. And all the other two decks that I'm going to mention in this video, I also purchased in September of 2018. So this is the Nomad Tarot, the second edition by Jennifer Tranto. I'm sorry if I butchered the name. This is a black and white deck. It is very nature-based and simple, not just in coloration, but also in the symbology that it uses. But um, even if it's a simple deck, it really dives deep into the cards. It doesn't need a lot of symbology and a lot of things going on in the images. And I really love some of the meanings that are written in the book and the symbology that is used in the different cards. So this is the world, a mandala, and the minors are pips. So we have 6 feathers here. And they're changed to feathers for the air suit, crystals for the earth suit, and the pentacles, which I love because I love crystals. I'm a collector of crystals and minerals. I have a whole collection and I can't stop to collect them. And as you can see, the aces are not just a single crystal as you would suppose, but they incorporate all the crystals you see through the minor suit of the element, because the aces don't mean just one thing, but the potential of the whole suit. And I love that. I love how she depicted that. And so we have moth here for fire, and shells for water. The next one is the deck that I already used for the reading in day 1, and it is the Dark Days Tarot. And I love the format of these cards. This is a square deck. And I love that because it is, yeah, it is nicely to handle. It is nicely to have even in a small space, to do larger spreads with it. And it also opens up the opportunity for you to read, to incorporate directionality with tarot cards, and not just upright and reversed, but all 4 of the directions. And the guidebook actually talks about each card and gives meanings for each card for every direction, which is very interesting. Normally, I don't read reversals because it just keeps me off track when I see an image flipped upside down. And I read shadow and the shadow side of the cards, but I'm deciding if it's shadow or light from the question that was asked, from the context that I have about the reading, yeah, from the position it's in, from the surrounding cards, yeah, and from my intuition. So what comes through, what energy comes through to me from that card. But with this deck, this is the only deck that I made, yeah, an exception to this rule for me. Because I love to see all four directions here. And the guidebook talks about those directions and how you could use them with the directions of south, north, west, and south, northwest, and east, but also of the moon phases, so waxing, waning, full, and new moon, and how you could incorporate that with the energy of the cards. Because this deck is black and white, because it's illuminated, the scenes are illuminated by moonlight, which is another thing that I love because I love the moon. I've always felt a really deep connection to the moon. I love to look at it. I love to pay attention to where, in which zodiac sign it is in and in which phase it is in. And I especially love full moons. And I love that this deck keeps a deep connection to the moon phases and the moon energies. So, and as you can see, the minor arcana have all black backgrounds with the white images, and the major arcana have all white backgrounds with black and gray images on them. So it's easy to separate them out if you wanted to. And the cards are very slippery, so it's very easy to, when you shuffle them, even if you don't want them to slip around in different directions, they will do it because they love to slide and turn around in your hands. And I also love to use this deck in cooperation with the Clair de Lune Lenormand, which is an absolutely stunning Lenormand deck. Lenormand deck of perfection for me, and I fell instantly in love with the Clair de Lune Lenormand when I first saw it. And the Clair de Lune is always also a very, yeah, coloration wise, more black and white with some pale blues and yellows, because those scenes are also under moonlight. So these two really work good together, not only from the visual and design aspect, but also I found that they read very nicely together. So this was number 3 of my top 4 decks. And this is the Ferdinando Crippa tarocchi from 1978. And this is, yeah, limited edition, and this is a pip deck also. because it is more towards Marseille style and the old traditional decks. So this is Pip, and it has a very special vibe to it because of the way the artist Ferdinando Crippa, because of his art style and the way he draws the persons and the images. So they have a very special look to them, and they all have very grumpy expressions to their faces. Some more sad, some more grumpy, some more serious. And it's a little funny here and there how they are depicted. But this is, yeah, this special art style. It is a very simple art style. But I fell in love with it because it has something special to it, and I had to smile when I first saw the images and all the facial expressions and how they were depicted. And I feel like when you read with this deck, it has a very sarcastic vibe to it sometimes, and very direct and straight to the point, but also with a little bit of sarcasm and humor here and there. And that's a very unique and special energy to this deck that I love to have in readings sometimes. So, and the pips, the minors are always like this. So you don't have 8 cups really depicted there, but you have a cup on the bottom of the card and then the number on top of the card. So number 8 and the cup, number 9 and the cup. So this is a very unique depiction of minors and of pips as well. So this was number 4 on my top 4 list. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did so, I would love to see that you give it a thumbs up, and I would love to hear from you. What were your top 5 tarot decks of 2018? Because I love to see what decks other people love or fell in love with, because I love to see the artwork and different depictions and symbology in the cards. And maybe I can find some other tarot decks that I fall in love with and want to purchase. So if you don't participate in this challenge from Ethany and you don't do videos, please leave a comment down below. I would love to read those. Also, I would love to read your experiences with any of the decks that I showed in this video, if you have them too. If you want to see more, please subscribe to the channel so that you don't miss another video. And yeah, if you want to see more cards, general readings, and crystals, you can also follow me on Instagram. The link is in the video description down below. And I hope you have a wonderful day. Bye.